I want to buy a new Mac. I don't know which one to buy. There's so many at the same price point. This is hard. Should I even buy a Mac? Has this ever happened to you? This is HTCT, and we have a Mac buying guide for you. Actually, computer buying guide. Anyway, let's get into the video. Here are the three options that you have right now. Option 1, you have the new MacBook. Not MacBook Air, the new MacBook. Option number 2, MacBook Air. Option number 3, the new MacBook Pro with Retina display. Back to option number 1, we have the new MacBook. For the new MacBook, you get a USB Type-C, the singular port on the whole thing. You get this butterfly mechanism on the keyboard and the Force Touch trackpad. And it's also pretty thin, and it's even thinner and lighter than the MacBook Air, but that's, not really going to be the major selling point. The major selling point is probably going to be the Retina display, which is dang gorgeous. So it features an Intel Core M processor, which is fairly new. It's not the highest end processor. I think it's even worse than the i3s, but it's, for those laptops that need portability. So if you want to buy this, it's probably because you like how it looks and the display is gorgeous, like I said before. But it's not really that powerful, and the price is $1,300, which is pretty high for something with a Core M processor. So it can support 1440p and 1280p, but the native resolution makes things look pretty small, so I would actually recommend scaling it up to 200%. And also, it only has one port, the USB Type-C. By putting this one singular port into the new MacBook, Apple's implying that USB Type-C will be big later on, and it probably will. I'm not going to say that it's not going to, because it can do a lot of things. It's pretty versatile. But for an adapter to that, it's going to make your new beautiful MacBook look like an octopus with this new weird connector that costs $79, and that's pretty expensive. You can go look that up on Apple, and we're going to put that link down below. Anyway, let's continue on. And yeah, if you want to buy it, then I wouldn't say you're crazy, but I would say that you have an excess amount of money, or you're just looking for a lot of portability, or you're a tech reviewer or something like that. Now to option 2, the MacBook Air. Yes, it has Intel's new Broadwell CPU's 5th generation, but, it's for portability, and it does just that great. It just doesn't have Retina display, sorry, but that's the only reason why, you wouldn't buy it right now compared to the other MacBook. Now let's move on to what I think is, you get the most bang for your buck. That is the new MacBook Pro with Retina display. It has a gorgeous Retina display, all the same, and it has this new Force Touch trackpad. It does not have the butterfly mechanism, but they only put that in the new MacBook because it's too thin to have a normal keyboard or a normal trackpad. Anyway, let's move on to the Force Touch trackpad. It's just a clear, it's not clear, it's just a solid sheet of glass. It doesn't actually move when you push down on it, and it can actually sense pressure better than other trackpads. And if you turn off the haptic feedback, it doesn't feel like you're pressing anything, because you're not. You're just putting your finger on a piece of glass and pressing down like an idiot. Anyway, it has the new processors, which are pretty fast, and this new PCIe-based flash storage, which is super fast. I can't even describe how fast that is. That's amazing. And I would not recommend upgrading to the better i5 and the i7, because they don't make it significantly faster at all. And now to the other competitors. So now let's talk about some of the competitors. For example, and mainly, the Dell XPS 13, and I'm talking about the Quad HD version with the Infinity display with the touchscreen. that is completely gorgeous, and even more gorgeous and amazing. I love the display, and the Infinity display with low bezel, like a low amount of bezel, is pretty good. It's all the same specs overall, basically, and it's thinner, it's lighter, it's like the MacBook Air, sort of. And also with that nice aluminum finish, and it feels pretty good to type on. I've tested it out and everything, and I wouldn't recommend going for, like, the new MacBook, not MacBook Air. I wouldn't recommend going for that when you have this. This costs $1,300. The same thing as the baseline MacBook Pro with Retina display 13-inch. The 13-inch MacBook Air, a little bit maxed out, and the MacBook. So, you might have forgotten about the Lenovo X1 Carbon, which has recently been updated with the new 5th generation processors. And, same specs overall, just a little more pricey. But Lenovo makes great keyboards. And it also has a pretty good display and this more functionality. But that's targeted as professionals, and if you're not a professional and you're a college student, I wouldn't hesitate to buy that if you like Lenovo. But, that's also an option. And you definitely won't be getting, with any of the things I mentioned, a 4.0 gigahertz Intel i7 desktop class processor like this, or any of this with the baseline model, since this is 250 gigabytes and baseline models only have 128, which some people could even call pathetic. On the bright side, you will be getting this, not this particular brand, but you will be getting 8 gigabytes of RAM, at least in the MacBook Pro 13-inch model, but the MacBook Air 11-inch model still has 4 gigabytes, and I'm going to take a big guess here and say the new MacBook will probably have 2 to 4 gigabytes. So in conclusion, it's not Apple's best computer. Oh god! I'll leave all of those parts that Apple does not use down below. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. Apple's products aren't necessarily the best, but they are the longest lasting, and if you like Macs, go buy a Mac. If you like Windows computers, go buy a Windows computer. Anyway, this is HTCT, and I'm out.
Just one last time. Oh.